Sly the Wolf crossed into the Canadian Yukon, his paws sinking into new rain-soaked earth. The air was thick with pine and possibility. He howled, announcing himself to the wild. Sly watched a moose in a lake, beavers at work, and geese overhead, each animal a nation, each encounter a lesson in belonging. He ran with bison, glimpsed grizzlies and lynx, and felt a kinship deeper than territory. This land was a sanctuary, and Sly felt a fierce urge to protect it. It wasn't just about his survival anymore, it was about theirs. The wild called for guardians, not just wanderers. Sly realized he'd found a cause worth fighting for. He didn't know what threat loomed, but he knew he'd stand with these creatures. His true adventure was just beginning. Rumors swept through the forest. Human things were vanishing. Sly heard tales of a great white building, the White House, gone overnight. He questioned a magpie who confirmed the panic. Bridges, towers, all disappearing. The animals felt unease. If the human world could crumble, what did that mean for theirs? Sly pondered the implications. Humans had always been a threat, but also a source of stability. Now, chaos threatened both worlds. The animals deserved safety, and if humans couldn't provide it, maybe the animals should. Sly's sense of duty grew. Perhaps it was time for the wild to take charge. A bold idea began to form. Sly reached Newfoundland's rugged windswept coast, his paws crunching over the jagged stones as the salty air filled his lungs. Here, where the dense ancient forest met the endless blue of the sea, the world felt both wild and fragile. In a quiet cove, Sly encountered Finn, a massive shark who had ventured into the shallows, curious about the creatures who roamed the land. Finn spoke in a deep, rumbling voice about the world breaking apart, about the changes he'd seen beneath the waves. Sly, feeling a pang of guilt, admitted his old fascination with the shiny treasures left behind by humans. Finn scoffed, his tail flicking. Gold and trinkets are useless to us. The true treasure is the world itself. Clean water, balance, and the miracle of life. Sly was struck by the shark's wisdom, realizing how much he'd overlooked in his pursuit of glittering things. He looked at the faded trinkets scattered along the shore, relics of a world humans had built and now seemed to be losing. Finn warned him, "Don't make their mistake. Fight for the real treasure, the land, the water, the creatures who call it home." Sly gazed out over the vast ocean and the endless forest, a new understanding dawning within him. His purpose wasn't to gather loot, but to protect the world's wild beauty. The lesson was clear: true wealth was the world itself, and it was worth every effort to defend. Sly's priorities shifted in that moment. With a heart full of new resolve, he turned from the coast, leaving behind the lure of gold for something far greater. The wild needed defenders. Creatures willing to stand up for the land, the water, and all who lived there, not looters chasing after empty riches. Sly would fight for the world, for the wild places and the life they held, not for gold, but for a future worth living. Sly returned inland, determined to act. The human world was collapsing, the animals needed order now. He envisioned a mighty Canadian animal army, strength and unity as their shield. Sly recruited Boris the Grizzly, appealing to his love of action. "We must unite, form an army, and protect our home," Sly declared. Boris agreed, drawn by the promise of direct action. Sly's message was simple: gather the strongest, impose order, and act before chaos consumed all. He recruited wolves, bison, and more, demanding allegiance, not debate. The plan was forceful, urgent, and left no room for hesitation. Sly was building an army. And in an army you followed orders. The time for patience was over. The wild would answer chaos with strength. Sly's campaign had begun. Sly's call for strength resonated with the wilderness's giants. Moose, bison, grizzlies, and cougars rallied, eager for action. Alistair the moose pledged his herd's muscle, while Cale the cougar saw a chance for dominance. Caribou and rival wolves joined, drawn by Sly's certainty. The big beasts gathered in a rocky mountain valley, the ground trembling beneath their weight. They believed their power could restore order. For the first time, they felt in control of their destiny. The air buzzed with anticipation. They were the architects of a new age. Their claws, teeth, and antlers would shape the future. The age of animal authority was at hand. In the hush of the ancient forest, where sunlight filtered through thick branches, the smallest animals gathered in secret: Squeaky the mouse, Chatter the squirrel, and Beatrice the wise beaver. They huddled close beneath the tangled roots, their hearts pounding with worry. Sly's army, growing larger and bolder each day, filled them with dread, not hope. The world they knew seemed to be unraveling, and the shadows felt longer than ever before. Squeaky's voice trembled as he whispered, "What happens after the first charge? What if we can't stop them? We don't even know why the world is breaking apart." The others nodded, their eyes wide with fear. Chatter, always quick to speak, agreed. "Force smashes everything. It's easy to destroy, but so hard to fix what's broken." "We need understanding, not just strength," Chatter insisted, his tail flicking with anxiety. "If we only fight back, we become just like them." Beatrice, older and wiser than the rest, listened carefully before she spoke. "Sly's heart is noble, but fear drives his plan. He wants to protect us, but he's blinded by worry." "We survive by building, not breaking," she counseled, her voice calm and steady. "We must find another way." The small animals exchanged determined glances. In that moment they formed a secret alliance, bound by hope and a shared desire for peace. Their mission was clear: investigate the disappearances, seek a peaceful solution, and prepare for the worst if it came. They would use stealth, knowledge, and cooperation, moving quietly through the undergrowth, always alert for danger. Open defiance was too risky, but quiet action could make a difference. They would gather clues, share what they learned, and help each other stay safe. They would not let fear rule their response. Instead, they would rely on their wits, their bonds, and their courage. The small and wise would seek the truth even if their path was hidden and uncertain. Their resolve was strong, and together, they would face whatever came next. In the heart of the forest, the smallest creatures carried the greatest hope. The forest had more than one kind of strength, and sometimes, wisdom and unity could outshine even the mightiest force. Their story was just beginning. The forest watched, waiting to see what the small and the wise would do next. The wilderness was divided. Sly's army drilled in the mountains, their howls echoing through the cold air as they prepared for the unknown. The big animals, bears, elk, and wolves, stood together, united by strength but separated by uncertainty. Meanwhile, the small animals worked in secret, darting through the undergrowth, sharing whispers and plans beneath the ferns and fallen logs, their movements almost invisible to the untrained eye. The big beasts prepared for war, their massive forms moving in formation across the rugged landscape, every muscle tensed for the coming storm. Their power was undeniable, but their purpose was clouded by doubt. Some wondered if they were truly doing the right thing, or if they were being led astray by old fears. Sly, standing apart from his followers, wondered if violence was the only answer. Finn's words haunted him, echoing in his mind like a distant thunder. Meanwhile, Squeaky, Chatter, and Beatrice gathered clues, piecing together secrets from the shadows, always alert for danger. They built a network of spies and thinkers, sharing information and ideas, hoping to outsmart brute force with cleverness and unity. Tension simmered in the air. Each side believed they were saving the world, but neither could see the other's truth. The big animals saw the small as cowards, hiding from the fight, unwilling to face danger head-on. The small saw the big as reckless, charging forward without thinking, risking everything for pride and power. Both wanted to protect their home, but their methods clashed, and neither side was willing to back down. The forest held its breath, the ancient trees standing silent witness to the growing divide. All waited to see which path would prevail, war or wisdom, strength or strategy. Sly stood on a ridge, gazing out over the land he loved, feeling the weight of every decision pressing down on his shoulders. The burden of leadership and uncertainty was heavy, and he knew that every choice would shape the fate of the wild. He thought of the missing White House, the shark's warning, and the divided kingdom. The future was uncertain, and the stakes had never been higher. The soul of the wild hung in the balance, every creature waiting for the next move. The next move would decide everything, and the fate of the forest rested on a single, uncertain step forward.
Join myself and JD Delay in fighting chomos and other bad thing by shopping at Convict Clothing. There are some amazing cloths for all at great prices. Nationwide free shipping for any order over $50. Just use the keyword autograph for a discount. And while you are shopping, also check out my store and perhaps become a member for only 99 cents. Both stores' links are in the description. Back to the video.